Good night and welcome to Teleislas News with the most relevant and important information of the day. The archipelago of San Andres, Providence, and Santa Catalina is on orange alert, according to the IDEAM, after the increase of wind and waves for the next 2 days.
Through IDEAM Special Communique number 089, they informed that until next Sunday, an orange alert for wind and waves will remain in effect in the center and west of the Colombian Caribbean Sea, since winds are expected with intensities between 20 and 30 knots and wave heights that could reach values of up to 3 meters, especially in the center of the National Maritime Zone offshore. It should be noted that this orange alert condition represents a threat mainly for navigation for shallow draft vessels.
IDEAM sent out yesterday, the communication 089 that tells us that we ain't got the speed of the wind will be between 20 and 30 knots. That will be between 36 to 56 kilometers by hour. These speed of this wind them. So the people that outside on boat and different system that work on the keys and all of those people that work with tourists, we should get special attention to all the communication that Captain Port bring out onto us.
These adverse conditions will continue until August 7. Therefore, the Departmental Office of Risk Management is on surveillance.
We want to pay special attention to this condition that presenting on the island. This condition will be until the 7th of August. We'll get it today, tomorrow, and past tomorrow. Today Friday, tomorrow Saturday, and Sunday, the 7th of August.
It is reiterated to the community to take the necessary preventive measures to mitigate the effects of natural phenomena and to observe the following recommendations.
We want to recommend that we tie down our house top, we look on our column, we look on our big, we look on our door and window and make sure we got them well tied down. Special attention, them tank what we got on the house top, them sometimes we leave them, we don't pay attention to them and them tank blow off and affect next people's house top, so we can tie down with tank them too. Remember, say, we have to be attentive, make we keep the emergency, make we plan familiar, and we can remembering how the emergency line is, that is 123.
It should be noted that we are in hurricane season, which began on June 1st and will last until November 30th. Therefore, it is important to be attentive to the official communications issued by the authorities.
The active governor, Luis Villoria Howard, today appointed Cute Milena Rodero Pimienta, a lawyer specializing in civil procedural law and master-in-law, as head of the legal office of the departmental government. The law professional arrived as a new member of Governor Everett Hawkins Shogren's team to bring projects and goals of the All for a New Beginning administration to a successful term, with the development and well-being of the island's community in mind. In other news, the IDEAM gave details on the weather forecast for this weekend in the country and the weather conditions for the inauguration of the President of the Republic. Within the logistics of this event, the archipelago was chosen as one of the departments where the inauguration will be broadcast in public plaza.
The Institute of Hydrology, Meteorology and Environmental Studies, IDEAM, released the weather conditions for this weekend in the Department Archipelago of San Andres, Providence and Santa Catalina. For this weekend, partly cloudy sky with the possibility of sporadic rainfall in the afternoon is expected. On the other hand, this Sunday, August 7th, the inauguration of President-elect Gustavo Petro and Vice President Francia Marquez will take place. The event will be carried out at Bolivar Plaza in Bogotá. The logistics of the event include the transmission of the inauguration as well as cultural events in several cities of the country. For the archipelago, the presidential inauguration will take place in the pedestrian area of Sprat Bite near the Mickey Mouse establishment. It will include the presentation of several groups that represent typical or island music, as well as the presence of social leaders of the islands. The event in the archipelago will begin at 3 p.m.
Today, the departmental government announced the official opening of a reading room for one of the public educational institutions of the department.
The local administration, through the Education Secretariat, opened today the reading room for the Bolivariano Educational Institution, which was delivered by the Ministry of National Education. This is an environment that will strengthen the pedagogical experience of students, enriching the educational work of teachers by complementing the activities they propose daily, promoting the development and learning through the promotion of literature, interaction with quality literary collections and other educational resources, which expands and nurtures the cultures of children with the writing and oral word in the learning environment. In this process of adapting the reading room, it is important to highlight the participation of the directors, teachers, and parents of the institution in coordination with the Cultural Center of the Banco de la República. Their contribution gave the environment the harmony and warmth necessary for the little ones to feel at ease while they discover the wonderful world of reading. This is the second reading delivered from the official educational institutions of the archipelago as a part of the commitment with the early childhood level of the department.
Along with the Sweet Food Association, the departmental government guarantees more than 66,000 lunches to 400 older adults.
In its work for and with the community through the Social Development Secretariat, the departmental government guarantees more than 66,000 lunches to 400 adults through the Sweet Food Association. This with the purpose of strengthening the fulfillment of social rights and providing quality of life to the elderly.
Realizamos supervisión.
We've supervised the food contract for hot lunches for the department's senior citizens, ensuring that they comply with all the biosafety measures and have better living conditions by providing them with a balanced diet.
Estamos acá en la Asociación Sweet Food.
From here at the Sweet Food Association, where we deliver 400 meals on a daily basis to all the sectors such as Narten, San Luis, Hill Cove, and around the Rock, we have been ordered to carry them in bags. Each person has to bring his or her own delivery bag. In that way, they will not put them all together.
And the payments to beneficiaries of the Colombia Mayor program have already begun. The Secretary of Social Development invites the community to be punctual with the collections of payments.
From August 5th to 19th, the payment will be made to senior citizens in the island. The Secretariat of Social Development invites the community to timely claim the subsidies according to the last digit of the ID card.
Today, 5th of August, we begin the payment corresponding to the 7th cycle of this year, that is the month of July. We will be paying until the 19th of August, and the arrangement from this month is that the avals that we had that have the coverage for the senior adults that were sick or at home during the pandemic is suspended since this month, and from this payment their families and them have to start making the power through the notary office again. So we remind them about that so that they have time to make all the office procedures so they can get to collect the payment of this month.
Beneficiaries are also reminded of the importance of updating their data either by change of address or telephone number, since this way they can be contacted and notified of any news regarding the benefit received.
In order to promote entrepreneurship based on the orange economy, the Technical Training Institute Infotep will hold its first entrepreneurship fair in our department.
The National Institute of Professional Technical Training Infotep will hold on August 12 its first entrepreneurship fair, where the initiatives developed by their students will be exhibited, as well as students of Infotep Ciénaga Magdalena will participate in the event with their business ideas.
Esta feria se llama Orange.
This fair is to promote the talent of students. They, from their subject of entrepreneurship, create their business ideas and develop their products and services. The idea is that 20 companies are visible and are part of the work of the students of the institution. This fair will be held on August 12 from 3 to 9 p.m. and the educational community and partner institutions are invited. In addition, there will be a workshop with a specialist in personal branding where they will show how to create a business based on personal purpose. The idea is that the community can access this information.
The entrepreneurship fair organized by Infotep is joined by entities such as the Chamber of Commerce in Impulsa Colombia and the DANE.
And now it's time for news of the municipality of Old Providence and Santa Catalina with Millicent O'Neill.
Good evening to all our viewers. This is the most relevant information from Old Providence and Catalina. The Truth Commission presented to the community the final report of its investigation on the victims of the armed conflict in the country, and particularly in this department.
As an ethnic territory where the effects of the armed conflict have been made invisible qualifies the final report presented by the Truth Commission to the community of Old Providence about the archipelago.
We consider that it is of the utmost importance that the country becomes aware of what is happening here. We have found that here there is a very high rate of disappearances. There are armed groups that are interested in this territory, specifically those that are linked to drug trafficking.
The islands are among ethnic territories excluded and abandoned by the state, making them vulnerable to the armed conflict according to the final report.
In this context of the economy of structural drug trafficking such as the AUC, the demobilization groups Rastrojos, Clan de Golfo, Urabeños, and at some point the FARC guerrilla, bringing weapons from Central America but not in the form of blocks or structures or sources.
The armed conflict continues through criminal gangs and structures that seek to take over the island through an illegal economy.
In this way, the conflict was being cemented here in the archipelago and has generated strong impacts on the Rizal population and the resident population, and also as a result of the conflict that has been experienced in the rest of the country. Displaced victims have arrived in the archipelago.
The report speaks of a minimum of 89 persons from Old Providence and Catalina missing due to the Colombian conflict.
And in other news, the Secretary of Sports and Culture spoke about the organization of the celebration of August 7th for this weekend.
The Municipal Secretary of Sports and Culture, Martin Valderrama, spoke about the 7th of August commemoration march that will be held tomorrow, Saturday. The head of portfolio clarified how this event will take place.
The celebration will be held on August 6th and will have the route from the Naval Post to the Coliseum of Batam House. This decision was taken in order to be able to conduct this activity in a suitable space, since at this time the conditions of the beach of Southwest and the court of the School of Southwest are not suitable to conduct this activity.
This declaration answers questioning by the community that were raised concerning the change of the traditional venue.
We had to quickly look for another place to hold this activity. That's why we decided to go to Batam House Coliseum, which was inaugurated a few days ago, and it is optimal conditions to hold the event. Once the protocolary act is finished in the Coliseum of Batam House, we'll go to the Southwest Beach to continue with the sport and cultural activities.
On the other hand, this weekend there will also be a choir encounter at the New Life Tabernacle in Southwest Bay, which will mark the beginning of activities in commemoration of the Emancipation celebration.
And this is all we have for tonight for the section of Old Providence and Catalina. Continue in San Andres, Lisa, with more Teleislas news. Good night.
Thank you, Amelia. With news of the municipality, we reach to the end of our broadcast. We see you Sunday at 8 o'clock in Teleislas News Weekend. Good night.